What's the secret to keeping the listeners hooked? It's writing that sounds as good as it feels to say out loud. Let's discover how to write for your ears, not just for your eyes. Hello, and welcome to Podcaster School, the series where you learn how to make your very own podcast. In today's lesson, we're diving into writing for sound. Whether you're scripting a casual chat or an immersive story, writing for audio is about making every word count. Let's explore what it takes to write scripts that sound natural, clear, and engaging. Here's what we'll go over today. First, we'll talk about writing for your ear, to remember our format and how it differs from traditional writing. Then, we'll cover writing for non-fictional podcasts, from talk podcasts to reportages. We'll cover writing for narrative podcasts and how you can get an idea of how it will end up sounding before recording. And finally, we'll explore structure and dramaturgy and why knowing how to set up your story makes it more engaging. First, we need to understand that writing for sound is different from writing for the eye. When you're writing for your podcast, your words are meant to be heard, not read, so they need to flow naturally when spoken. So let's go over some tips to make your script sound great. The first tip is to write conversationally. Use short sentences, simple words, and casual language. Write like you talk. Tip 2, imagine a recipient. Imagine speaking to someone specific, like your mother or friend. Tip 3, read it out loud. If it sounds awkward or unnatural, rewrite it. Tip 4, use rhythm. Break up longer ideas with pauses or short phrases. For example, she opened the letter, stared at the words, and everything changed. Tip 5. Include sensory details. Describe what things sound like or how they feel. For example, the floor creaked like an old ship on stormy waters. And last tip, add natural dialogue. People don't talk perfectly, so use pauses, repetition, and casual phrasing to make the dialogue sound real. Perfect. Those were some basic tips for writing for sound. Now let's get a little bit more specific and look at how to write for non-fictional podcasts. Non-fiction podcasts come in many forms: interviews, talks, news reports, and reportages. No matter the format, a good script helps you stay organized and on track. Think of it as a plan for both your words and the sounds you want to include. For talk podcasts, like interviews or group discussions, your script doesn't need to be word for word. Instead, focus on outlining your introduction, a strong hook to start your episode and explain what listeners can expect, your talking points, key topics, questions, or segments you want to cover, your transitions, plan how you'll connect different segments of the episode, and your conclusion. End with a summary, a key takeaway, or a closing thought. Now, in reportages or news podcasts, scripts are often more detailed. Here, you might write both narration and descriptions of sound elements you want to include, like interviews, background noise, or sound effects. For example, the streets were quiet when I arrived in the village. But then I heard it, the rhythmic pounding of drums coming from the square. Remember, a script is just a plan. The final recording might sound a little different, and that's okay. The script gives you structure, but leaves room for natural moments. Now that we've explored the basics of writing for nonfiction, let's move over to narrative podcasts, where writing and storytelling go hand in hand. Narrative podcasts, whether fiction or nonfiction, require detailed writing to bring stories to life. These podcasts are like audio movies or documentaries. Every word, pause, and sound plays a role in engaging your audience. To write for narrative podcasts, start with a simple structure. For your beginning, introduce your story. Who are the key people? Where are we? What is the central question or conflict? And for your middle, Build tension and provide details. For nonfiction, this might mean presenting interviews, sound clips, or surprising facts. And for fiction, it's where characters face conflict or challenges. And for your end, wrap up your story in a way that feels satisfying, even if everything is not resolved. Let's talk about a concept that helps tie everything together: dramaturgy. Don't worry, it's simpler than it sounds. Dramaturgy is just a fancy word for the structure of your story. It's about organizing events and moments in a way that keeps your listeners curious and engaged. But first, always keep your premise in mind. Your story's premise is its foundation. It answers the question, what is this story about? A strong premise keeps everything focused. When you're clear on your premise, you'll find that the rest of your storytelling, whether it's character development or plot twists, will fall into place more easily. Always keep your premise in mind to avoid straying away from the core of your narrative. If you're ever unsure about what to include, ask yourself, does this support the premise? If not, leave it out. See, with dramaturgy, the key idea is every story needs progress and momentum. Think of your story as a fish. The head of your podcast hooks your listeners with a strong start. The body builds excitement and keeps them engaged. And the tail delivers a satisfying ending that rewards them for sticking around. Practically, you can use this model for all of your stories. And if your podcast is short or standalone, like a news report or a single story episode, this simple structure works wonders. Now, for longer stories, make sure you also keep the tempo in mind. A helpful tip is the 4-minute rule. Every 4 minutes, introduce something new. It could be a surprising fact, a shift in tone, or a new sound element. Anything that keeps the momentum going. Alright, let's wrap up with some final takeaways from today's lesson. First, we covered writing for the ear, keeping it conversational, using rhythm, and painting pictures with sensory details. We've also covered writing for non-fictional as well as narrative-type podcasts. For non-fiction podcasts, use scripts as roadmaps and include sound notes to plan your episode. In narrative podcasts, structure your story with a clear beginning, middle, and end, while also blending narration with sounds. Lastly, we talked about dramaturgy and how it's about creating momentum. Keep your premise in mind and introduce something new every once in a while. Alright, that's all for today's lesson. So, start scripting, keep experimenting, and remember, when it sounds right, it probably feels right. See you in the next lesson. Bye!